Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Our guest today is Steve Calle, City of South Miami City Commissioner. Thank you very much for being here, Commissioner.
Good to see you again, Michael.
So let's talk about things that are happening in the city of South Miami, things for the residents, the people that live here, for the business people, and what does the future look like here in the city of South Miami?
Well, I think that the major announcement is that the Winn-Dixie, that's the one on 73rd Street, right in front of Casa Cuba, it's going to be closed it probably already happened April 24th, as a matter of fact. There will be a new supermarket there going down at the bottom and 10 stories of residential building. So I think the demolition on that's going to probably happen sometime in August. And I don't know if it's been publicly announced, but if it hasn't, I know it will be. It's a fresh market going in there. So that's one of the major news that we see going on in the downtown area.
So you're going to, by virtue of that apartment building, we're going to have a lot of people walking around South Miami. Lots.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will be able to come down from their apartment, walk around, go to the shops, go down the street to one of the many, many, many restaurants that are there. That's terrific. So tell us some other things that are going on.
We have a building right across the street from City Hall that they just put in their applications to ready start development with the development agreement. So we're going to see that building go up shortly. I don't remember the name of it though, but it'll be another, I think it's 8 to 10 stories. So a little bit more density in that area as well. Again, walking. So
Yes.
we have a little more walkability in the area. That's on the other side of US 1 across the street from City Hall. I know that there's a lot of talks and plans. I think that people are receptive to what South Miami and the new commission is trying to do, where we bring a lot more people to eat, play, and hopefully work in our downtown area. Bring that vibe and bring the restaurants and bring the community back together.
I had breakfast downtown Miami, where my son lives. It was an extraordinary event to see so many people walking on the street. I was like stunned, all right? And every mode of transportation, motor scooters, motorcycles, the skateboards, the moms were pushing the kids and roller skates or whatever they call it. It was an extraordinary couple of hours. And when you see people living in those areas versus just office and then going to the suburbs, it completely changes the dynamics. And so we see that there's going to be a new Publix right outside the city.
Right, on the other side on the Core Gable side, correct.
Which is just 2 blocks out of the city, which is going to attract a whole lot of people to be able to, again, they can live, right? They're going to be able to have at least 2 choices that are nearby for food. And it should really build up a whole entertainment routine in the center of town. And speaking of the center of town, maybe it's not, but the old Bakery Center Shops of Sunset.
So the update on that is the ownership of the current Sunset Place. They really have good plans. I think that they're getting ready to move forward on their perspective there. I think it's going to take a little while, unfortunately, but the good thing is that they're working hard to move forward. Hopefully, get some architects in place with a really good design. The idea for us as a commission for the city of South Miami is to work with developers like that so we can do the best product available out there.
So during the pandemic, the top floor of the South Miami Metro Rail station, above the
Okay.
garage, was constructed. And it's for student housing, if I recall it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see the kids walking up and down whatever street that is over there, 68th Street or
Mhm.
whatever, it's extraordinary to see them. And they're walking either to downtown or they're walking to take the Metro Rail. South Miami is finally catching up of years of nothing happening. In the next couple of years, there's going to be a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of business, and the residents here, it's going to shift from just, living in a single-family home to apartment living. And there's some people that are really
In a very specific area, though.
yes.
Okay, just want to make sure it's clear. Very specific areas where we're going to have a little bit more density, yes.
And I think that's a wonderful thing, and that's what makes it, and it can be really a downtown area. There'll be things to go there. Another city, I think it was complete, they took over the parking garage from the second floor up.
Mm-hmm.
Downstairs still stayed with the old developer, right, for the retail stores. Tell us how the city is going to be able to try to get more people to park in that parking garage.
Well, I think that you talked about Publix, and even though they're across the street in Coral Gables, I think that whole district is you're seeing changes. I mean, you see development on the Coral Gables side. You're going to see development on on the South Miami side. What that's going to do is drive a lot more density in there. So when people come and visit, we want them to use our parking garage. There's a lot of upgrades that we've been doing to our parking garage. Security wise, we have cameras. I think over 92 cameras that we're installing in there. 100% monitored by our police station. Our parking fees are actually the lowest, probably in the whole entire Southwest area. I think it's $1.50 an hour. So we're really driving traffic. I think that you'll have a little bit of an issue in the next couple of years with construction. We're trying to pack it in and make sure that it's used in the garage and it's not blocking any traffic. But the usage of the garage will exponentially go up, and hopefully we get to a point where we might need another one, which we have a couple of centers already right behind by the Tire Kingdom. We have a little surface area, which maybe that's an opportunity for the city to convert that into garage. And then, we also have that big parking garage, that parking area where the bank is at, the South Miami Bank. So there's a lot of opportunities for parking and future development and really growth of that particular revenue source for the city.
So the people that have been around for a long time have been, waiting for something new to happen. So it's really happening. So my congratulations to this commission for being able to balance that. One of the things that we do know that we have here in the city of South Miami is the South Miami Children's Clinic, which is run by Dr. Tina Carroll Scott. It's a service that's provided, and she is my unsung hero.
Mm-hmm.
15, 17 years ago, she was a pediatrician in a Bal Harbor pediatric office. She made a decision she was going to help the underserved. And here she is all these years helping not just the kids, but the whole family. So my hat's off to her, to Baptist, and for the city of South Miami being provide local health care for citizens there.
Can I follow though? Because
Yes.
it's awesome that you just brought that up. So I met with her a few weeks ago. We had a grand opening of a sensory room in the Mobley building in South Miami. So kids on the spectrum can go in there and have their abilities to do different, playing arts for kids. Specifically, Commissioner Corey sponsored that. So congratulations to him on that, and Commissioner Regalado and the whole team for doing that. But I did meet her there. And it's funny that her and my wife are same boat, right? They worked at Rhodes Pediatrics, my wife, for example, which is a high-end boutique pediatrics. And then she did clinical, health community. So I know I'm trying to get them together to see what else we can do in the city, and my wife wants to be involved. But kudos to her. I'm glad you mentioned her because she does such a great job.
So one of the things is we get older, we start recognizing if you're going to do something, now's a good time to do it.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the things that you're involved with.
Okay, well, inspired by Commissioner Corey, I already legislatively got the next office space right next to where we're in the Mobley building, and so my passion and my background, if you guys remember, was always entrepreneurship, business. So I've mentored, I've done accelerators throughout the world, really, and one of the things is I don't want to do it anywhere else but here in my hometown. So I'm opening up a new facility in cahoots with Miami-Dade Commissioner Regalado, where we can do kids entrepreneurial literacy, financial literacy. We're going to do business repair, credit repair for the community, and then hopefully do more entrepreneurial things. So working from partnerships all the way from kids and youth all the way to elderly, where they can do learnings, teachings, programming in that facility, which I will help bring and cater and bring a whole bunch of attention to it. So I'm pretty excited about that.
It's wonderful that you're doing that, and you never know the impact that you might have.
Yeah.
And that just as one person that you might help, they can find some foundation in that and say there's somebody that cares, sorry, and they're teaching. Excuse me, as I hang that up. Sorry. And
You're an important man.
they're being taught in an environment they may not get that anywhere else. And out of that group of people, hopefully you'll be able to teach them that they can get education and they can get certificates and to go to school and learn how to take care of themselves and their family.
Absolutely. I mean, we had breakfast today with a big contributor to the community, Miami-Dade Community College president, and I think we were both, impacted and inspired. So, I mean, as long as we can touch one person, I think that's all we need to do. But I'm going to try to inspire as many people as I can.
So Madeline Pumerica was our guest speaker, first woman president
Miami-Dade.
at Miami-Dade College, and she told the history of Miami-Dade and how many 2.5 million people have graduated from there.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the whole spectrum of achievers, whether you go there and you get a 2-year degree or a 4-year and you go to FIU, and she gave a case where people going to MIT, and some people that, one of the guys there went to Miami-Dade, became a doc, and there's a lot of that. And that all of us need to find some inspiration somewhere so that we can offer that to somebody else. So tell us about that credit repair, because a lot of adults realize, oh, I messed up, and what do I do?
Well, I mean, it's financial literacy is a problem that could be resolved. It's an opportunity for us to make sure it gets better, right? In the business world, credit is really important. So I think just having people that can talk to you about the credit, the importance of it, having solutions in place where they can repair it, and then teaching them what they can do with credit so they can, improve their lives. So that's just one portion of the projects that we want to work on, but that should answer your question. I mean, anybody that's out there that wants to come, it'll be completely free.
So we recognize when you start working on this particular part of your life, you go, oh, let me go work on this part over here. And it's sort of like cleaning up the house. You start in one room, before you know it, got the whole house,
Yeah.
right? And don't start painting, because we know what's going to happen next. Everything is going to be replaced.
I hear you.
So this is April. The kids are out for school pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about some of the activities that will be taking place at Murray Park during the summer.
Well, we have the pools opening up, so we'll have all the pool programs at Murray. We just started paddleboard. It's not paddleboard, pickleball in our Gibson Center. So that just started. I think it's Wednesdays and Fridays. I played for the first time there, and it was really fun. So we're gonna have update a little bit on South Miami Park. We have the bathrooms going in.
It's on off 57th and 40.
Correct. We're behind David Fairchild, South Miami Park, where the soccer facilities are. So we finally have bathrooms and all the infrastructure being put in place in the next couple of months. I met with the Miami-Dade WASA people, the director as well. Very great people, and they're supporting us on this. So facilities will be going into that park so we can improve that park and continue to build in that particular park where there's issues there. What else in the summer's going on? We have Brewer with all tennis, and then basketball and summer camps. The South Miami summer camps will be open as well. Please go to the website and check on what particular programs you might be interested in.
Okay, let's talk about Donnie Fussell Park.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of art that's out there, outside sculptures. Tell us a little bit about that history and what's there now.
Well, I mean, I think that this is Commissioner Lehman's, he's very passionate about the park. He's brought a lot of art from our sister city, Medellin, which it just so happens that's where I'm from. So it's interesting how the relationships he's built there between us and the city and the counter in exchange of art, structures. I think that the facility itself, from a tennis perspective, is done really well. So much that we're investing a little bit more into that as well, upgrading the clay courts. We're going to build a facility there that's tennis oriented. So we're going to have one of the best tennis facilities in that area. So Dante Fussell Park's doing really well. It's unfortunately we can't fix the parking situation there, so we can't invest too much because we can't have that many people there. But it's doing great.
So the city mostly with Josh, wound up getting people to donate this outside
Correct.
sculptures, some very deliberate and interesting and provocative sculptures out there for everybody
I like
to
your
enjoy.
adjectives.
And when I look at it, it's like, it's a wow moment when you go there. That caused some other changes as far as big developments. There's money that's being put aside by big developers for art at public places. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So most bigger municipalities, City of Miami, City of Coral Gables, they in the development agreement they allocate 1.5% of the development cost to art and public spaces or streetscaping. So we've done the same thing. So as the developers build, for example, the Winn-Dixie Center that we just talked about, and we'll call it a different project, but they make an investment into the area to make sure there's public work. So studies show that when you have art in public spaces, that we will have more density, more enjoyment, better booming economy in that particular area because of the art. I mean, it's one of the things that it's just, the data shows that. So we're totally happy and on board to bringing art to public spaces and our streetscape.
And it's sort of like the crown molding in the house.
Yeah.
It's fine without it, but you put it in, you go, oh.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, we start thinking a little bit differently. We know that Miami-Dade County is putting up some new buildings, a few blocks from here, replacing some 50-year-old townhouses. And it seems to be moving along very nicely, which we can, I drive by every couple of days.
You're speaking of Somi Park.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's going good. That's a related project. Well, I have two announcements there too. So Somi Park's doing really well. I think that I just got an invitation for one of the ceremonies here at the end of May, I believe it was. So that's going really fast, by the way. Phase 2 should be starting here at the end of the year. So there's a phase 1 and a phase 2.
Wow.
They're right across the street from each other. And there's also Academica. Academica is I'm sure most people know, but Academica is a company that does charter schools throughout the country. And their headquarters are based in South Miami. And so they just invested into South Miami as well, where they're building their headquarters. They'll have some offices, residentials for their teachers, which is really cool, co-oping space. And
So
by the way,
68th Street?
it's right next to it, right across the street from the Somi Park, right next to the school. And the cool thing about that is they're going to have a car elevator in there, which is awesome. So those are just little tidbits of some of the things that are coming down our city.
So when we look at the people that years ago said, we're going to start buying up property over in the worst part of town that nobody wanted to go to, which was the eye clinic, I forget his name.
Yeah.
All right, he went over there and bought this building and fixed it up. And he was there, and then the city, not too long afterwards, said, maybe it was around the same time, put in the swimming pool there. And when you look at it, it's so relaxing when you're there and you go, people care. When I looked at the city property and you go, this is good. Whether you swim or not, you look at it visually, it's very appealing. And so by beginning of next year, that other phase 2 is going to start. The building gets torn down. The people that were in the phase 1 that lived in that building, from what I understand, they'll be given an opportunity
That's
to move
absolutely
back
correct.
in.
Yes.
When the timing's right, the same's going to go for
Phase 2.
for that. Certainly, one of the people who was heavily involved in that area was James McCants, who just retired after 20 years or 25 years. There was a goodbye party for him. A couple of guys signed.
Can I give a shout out,
Yes.
Mr. McCants? He knows I couldn't make it because I was out of town this weekend, but shout out to Mr. McCants. He did a phenomenal job serving the city and the community, and I'm sure we're still going to lean on him for a couple of things, but kudos to him and congratulations on his retirement.
When a couple of years ago he takes me and he says, we're going to give out some Christmas stuff. Get in the car. Go. He starts giving out Christmas gifts, and then he knocks on the door of one house. These 4 little kids come out, 8 to 15 years old. They hadn't had black kids. Their hair was like this. No shoes, no shirts. He sees the condition. He picks up the phone. He calls the barber that's in the Mobley building and says, you got to cut these kids' hair. And I watched how he cared enough, all right? And then we went to the next place to where some people had moved in the week before. They had no furniture. He called some furniture place and made them put furniture in the apartment. When I watched what he did and how he did that and how he cared in spite of all the stuff that we all go through in life, and he was there trying to make a difference. And everybody had a good time with saying goodbye to him, including Simon Codrington and a couple other people. They got him like a chaise lounge in the building, all right? They gave him a fishing pole. They gave him a pair of sunglasses and a hat, and then a pineapple cleaned out, and then roasted him for about 20 minutes. And my hat's off to James, who really cares a lot, all right? And he's going to be working at some other housing project. He's going to continue serving the community, whether it's in South Miami or the surrounding areas. My hat's off to them. We do have in the city, we do have a new city manager, Chip Iglesias, comes from a long history of working with government. He seems to have settled in at this point. He's been 6 months.
Well, like 5, no, less than that now. It's been only 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. And so he seems to be settled in, right? The commission is going full speed. And one of the things that we recognize as onlookers, there's not the type of bickering that there was before. So my hat's off to figuring out the push and pull of trying to get through some stuff. So what are some of the initiatives that haven't been brought forth to the public but are about to be announced?
If it hasn't been announced, I probably can't announce it yet. But,
maybe we could squeeze this out of them.
Let's see. Well, we with this new commission, we've had a new city manager, new city attorneys, and just the glue, like the way that we've been working as a commission has just been, in my opinion, working really well. It's almost like a well-oiled machine. It's moving well. Ideas are going. It's going to take a little bit of time for everybody to get in place, and we still have some holes we probably need to plug in. So that's, we'll have some changes internally with our staff. Nothing out of this world. We just, got to plug some holes. But I think that, going back to what we all ran on, and, Mayor Fernandez, Vice Mayor Bonich, is that we all wanted to create what we thought was needed. I mean, we talked to people on the streets and knocking on doors, is we want to make sure that downtown's vibrant. So if we have to modify some of the zoning requirements, that might be coming down the pipeline. I know we just had a public, we hired Joe Cordino and his group to really understand the zoning opportunities that we have with our city. We presented it to the community maybe a month ago. And so those, I can announce that because that was public, but there might be some changes from a zoning perspective. Well, it's going to accomplish what we want to do with the downtown district. We also built a board. We've never really had a bid or a community of businesses in the area. And as we continue to grow, like one of the things that we want to do is have feedback from the store owners, the property owners. As we continue to build this, we want to have their input, their advice. So we set up a board. It's populated now. I think we're going to have our kickoff here in the next couple of weeks. But that is really important because it could be, the start maybe of a bid or an opportunity just to really get that zone buzzing. So I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, it's one of the things that we really want to drive.
So we know when you have community involvement, that they become the evangelists.
Absolutely.
And they share with the people to their groups. And all of a sudden, you have a lot of people that are involved in it. I did want to bring up that I understand there's a ordinance that says that street namings and park namings can only be, correct me if I got it wrong, for people that have passed, that are dead. And I wonder about us in life, to where we wait for somebody to be dead before we say all this good stuff about them. And I see so many of the major media, they have everybody's obituary already written. So when the guy goes, all right, that they just need to fill out the top part. And so as we look, and especially as we move along in life, I look at it, should we be paying tribute to people when they're alive, rather than when they're passed and then we're looking over their grave and saying those nice things? So just put that in your back of your head.
I don't know if we have that ordinance in place, because I know we were contemplating, I don't want to announce that because it hasn't happened yet, but we were contemplating naming a park. She's living. So I don't know if we have to check that.
And even if there was,
Chip
you could redo
Iglesias,
it.
yes, we can change it. But I agree with you 100%, right? Like we tell my parents, I don't care what you do with the money or your inheritance. Just spend it. Enjoy yourself. You don't want to wait, and you never get to enjoy it. You know, you never know what the future's going to lie. Just enjoy it now. So recognitions and all these things that happen should be done when you're living. I mean, you retire. Dwayne Wade retires from the Heat. 5 years later, he sees his his number going up there. It's something that's special.
So without saying who that person might be, all right, that would be a great personal favor to me if that could happen. Right, I think that would be a wonderful thing because there was a lot of leadership that was involved, and first-time stuff is significant because there's a lot of little boys and girls
100%.
that are looking out and going, "Hey," right, instead of "Hey." So
100%.
right, Steve, wonderful things that the city's doing, that you brought some new life to the commission, and we have three new people. We have Lisa Bonich, the vice mayor, new mayor, and yourself, and Brian's been there 2 years, and Josh, who swore he was only going to run for one term. Right,
he's going up in 11 years now.
11 years, and he's really. Quite the character. And by the way, I don't know, he's very quiet about it, but he's run over 100 marathons.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a tribute to his being persistent.
Yeah. He's persistent, and he's a big advocate of the running community. So kudos to that.
Okay. Steve Calle, City of South Miami Commission.
Thanks,
Thank you very much, folks. Thank you for joining us.